Forward to receiving your wisdom this morning, and you're going to do a bit of the daily word, a bit of the talk, and the meditation in your own style. Thank you. So welcome along to Unity of Melbourne.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Am I here? Yes, I'm unmuted. I'm with you. And I'm very happy to be here. Everybody's looking very good when I saw you on the various screens that were open earlier. It was lovely to see you all. Can you all hear me? Everybody hear me? Yes, good. Okay, so it's lovely to be here today in Melbourne, the city of my birth, and happy day to you all. We sent out the notice beforehand about my talk, and it says, what does gratefulness mean? We've all heard be grateful all our lives. Let's take a deeper look at the power and the creative value of gratitude and enjoy our lives even more. The most important thing in the whole of the Unity teachings and presentations and so forth is the basic principle that there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in me and in my life. And it's God the good, all-powerful. It's really important to remember that we really do have this relationship with God that is first in every situation. One of the things is that I wrote a thing about gratitude, which I've got here, and it says, gratitude begins with the relation and ends with the relationships with others, which give us more chance to escape loneliness, even when it takes patience and tolerance. But gratitude itself, we'll talk about that more later, but gratitude was given a wonderful writing by Carl Jung. Even the enlightened person remains what he is and is never more than his own limited ego before the one who dwells within him, whose form has no knowable boundaries, who encompasses him on all sides, fathomless as the abysms of the earth and as vast as the sky. So there's been a lot of talk about the presence of the creative power, which I choose to call God mostly, within us all, and getting it that all the universes are all full of this light and this power. And we've seen many things over the years to remind us of that. But because we had so many centuries of thinking in the darkness, it is really good that we have so much publicity for the light that is in every part of the universe. And so looking at ourselves and thinking about this presence and this power is what is most important for us. There was one of the things that stops us from seeing and getting this power and this awareness of the light in every cell of our body. One of the problems is that we have various things that block us. And a man called Charles Glassman wrote what he calls the elimination diet. And we need to eliminate and remove anger, regret, resentment, guilt, blame, and worry from our minds. Now, how many times through the day do we walk around the place and have one of those feelings come up, one of those thoughts come up, one of those images come up? How many times during the day do we have the opportunity to say no to them? How many times during the day do we have the opportunity to say yes to the light? Because I don't know about you, but in the 12-step programs, we are very lucky because we have in one of the, or two of the steps are involved with writing down the negative diet that we have, writing down the things that we have in our mind that are causing us to feel separate from God, feel separate from us, our real self. And we have the opportunity to do that. We've got to look at our anger. And I, still recommend for other people, you don't have to be in the program, but I recommend for everyone to have a notebook and daily or weekly or, every few days or whatever, but daily preferably, write down the angers that you have. What are you angry about? Who are you angry about? Where is the anger going? And just look at that and then say, oh, let it go. And then look at where we have regrets. How many regrets do we let scrabble up our mind and make it all dirty and horrid with regrets? How many times do we regret things we've done? And remember the things that we've done. We tend to remember, I believe, more of the things that we don't like that we've done than we really remember the things we do like that we've done. Because when we were little, we were told not to get ourselves above ourselves and all that sort of rubbish that we were taught as little kids. But the thing is that we have a habit of going on and reminiscing about the things that we didn't do well and not doing the reminiscing and the cheering and so forth for the things we have done well. So with our doing an inventory, we need to look at the things that we regret and then put us beside them a list of the things that we've liked. We can look at the resentments we've had. People have done things to us, haven't they? Haven't you had somebody do something to you didn't like? Hands up if you didn't. Oh, I can't see all your hands. It's right, you're all blacked out. But I know jolly well that you have not done a thing about the people who have been causing you resentment. There's plenty of them. And does the resentment do us any good? When I have a resentment about someone, it's absolutely awful because I carry it around inside me and think about it much more often than I admit, except when I'm being openly honest the way I am today. But I do carry resentments from time to time and come up with them and then feel awful about the whole thing. So we need to let go of the resentment and say, okay, that was just happening the way it was supposed to. Guilt. We have to remove our guilt. How many things are we guilty about? I don't want to go on about that because I don't like talking about guilt, but most of us have lots of guilt stuff that goes on in us. And blame. Do we blame anybody else for our problems? Do we blame anybody else for what we don't like? Do we blame anybody else for their behavior when their behavior might come from their own pain? And worry. How many things do we really worry about every day? But if there is only one presence and one power, there can only be a good outcome and a good reason in all of these situations that we carry around with us. When we eliminate all these quote unquote negative but unhappy making, unjoy producing feelings, and then look at what the alternative is and put our attention on that, our whole life changes. We can watch our health, our physical health. I've seen it happen with myself, watching my physical health in some direction change after I've changed my blames and guilts and stuff. We can see our life improve. I got a good bit from a friend of mine the other day. She sent me online. We are one. We are connected parts of the whole. And we've said that in so many different ways. We are connected parts of the whole. There's no, the false sense of separation that exists only in our imagination. We are the ones who imagine the separation. The separation isn't there. There's only one presence and one power in the whole universe and in our lives and in our bodies and in our minds. But we put up the false stories. in our imagination. I don't know why our imagination chooses to go into some of these negative pictures that it does, but it does. It's our imagination that has all this stuff that we don't like going on. We need to remember to draw from the wellspring of joy, from the power within us, all through the day. And now I'd like us to look at what it does say in today's daily word on joy. And the affirmation is, I draw from my wellspring of joy. And it's based on the Bible verse, but the angel said to them, do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all people. Oh, what a lovely picture. Thank you. Isn't that gorgeous? I draw from my wellspring of joy. Let's say that together. I draw from my wellspring of joy. And again, I draw from my wellspring of joy. And once more for Jack Boland. I draw from my wellspring of joy. There are so many ways to express joy. I may speak words of praise that bring the awareness of even more blessings to mind. I may take joyful action, my every step aglow with the light of God, enlivening all I do. It's really important, by the way, to remember that we are filled with the light of God. Every cell of our body is filled with the light of God. Our hands, our feet, our eyes, our teeth, everything. I may take joyful action, my every step aglow with the light of God, enlivening all I do. I celebrate the playful joy of every child, especially the child within me. I experience the same happiness when I'm in the heart of a busy city or in the stillness of nature. And then there is the quiet joy of just being, the richest joy of all. I rediscover my joy by taking deep, slow breaths, tapping into my wellspring of well-being that never runs out. Nice deep breaths. I feel its energetic flow spilling over into my heart and life. What joy to be a spiritual being, a precious child of God. Just think about that for a moment. We are a spiritual being, precious child of God. Every part of us is made with the energy, the creative energy of the universe that we choose to call God. The creative energy is in every cell of our body. And therefore we can call on that great power within us at any time we're feeling anything that takes us away from the comfortable presence and power of Godness. Does that make nice sense to you? It does to me. I love that. And I enjoy thinking about how this goes. It's really good fun. The other thing that we've got going for us is that we look at the relationship of gratitude. So we've got all sorts of ways in which we can see places to give gratitude. People do something nice for us. We see something beautiful. We feel a beautiful fresh breeze when we're hot. We feel a nice warm breath when we're hot, when we're cold. There's all sorts of things in our feeling, our seeing, our hearing. We can hear, then that little song, you know, those little birds and the pictures were just filled me with so much joy. They were so gorgeous. And the sound of the music comes through, when it comes through really clearly and well, just delights my ears. And the sound of happy things, people laughing, things like that, fill us with joy. But when we're walking around, and we're busy getting on with our life and there isn't anybody else around to cheer us up or do anything, very often we can walk around feeling into our darkness, into our misery, into our what we're lacking. It's easier to think about what we're lacking when we're alone and doing something that isn't particularly inspiring. And I've done a lot of walking around in my time with having lonely feelings or grumpy feelings or what have you. But it's really important to remember at those times that that is a lie I'm telling myself. Now, I mean a lie. When we tell ourselves that we're separate from God, it is a lie. And I need to undo the lying and be involved with affirming the presence and the power. And as I walk around the corridors or walk around or what have you, as I'm feeling grumpy, I have to stop and say to myself, come on, Grace, get it together. God is in my hand. God is in my feet. God is in my body. The light of God is within me. The light of God is within that person that I'm grumbling about. I have to turn within to myself and change anything I'm saying that is contrary to all is light into seeing where the light is. And that's an exercise that, frankly, I do many times in many days. And it's not something I'm just making up for you this morning. It's something I really do. Our relationship with others gives us more chance to escape loneliness, even when it takes patience, tolerance, and letting go of our attachment to having agreement. We have to let go of our attachment to that we must have agreement and praise, etc., all those sort of things from our people that we share things with. We don't need to have agreement for our viewpoint when we share it with someone else. We absolutely do not have to have their agreement for us to know that that is our viewpoint. We don't have to pretend that something is different from what it really is. It is always the presence and the power present, and we can accept everything. Acceptance is the key. Every situation is capable of inspiring a positive step forward. I hope you believe me on that because it's so important. Every situation is capable of inspiring a positive step forward. People can be, we've got a person here in where I live who is really in lots of up and down things that he says to people and he does and what have you, and he storms around the place, and it's a whole big thing of his dementia is making him go up and down and say abusive things. But it's not true. When he starts complaining to us and rabbiting on at us, we have to know that this is not true. He is a precious child of God who is having a bad thought going on in his head that's not happy for him. He's not happy. But we don't have to lose our happiness because of his pain. We have to send him love to the pain instead of beating up on him and being nasty about him. It's difficult, I know, when people are doing things in your face that you don't like. However, it's better if we can see the presence and the power within the person and within us and send the light. Sending the light is so important. One of the things that was fun for me was seeing that in my hand, all I have to do is hold my hand up and look at it, and I can see the hand, and I can tell myself that every cell of that hand has got the light of God in it. Every cell, every part of the bones, the nerves, everything in that hand has got the light of God in it. So everything I touch has got my hand putting the love of God and the power of God towards what I touch. So it's not lonely when I've got this presence and this power right with me in everything I do. Every situation is capable of inspiring a positive step forward. And I've got a nice affirmation for myself saying, today I will take time to listen to God. I will take time to listen to God and to ask myself to stay still to hear the sound of God's wisdom. Inside me is all wisdom, and it's activating my life, your life, and all the lives. This wisdom is within everyone and is activating everyone. So we don't live in a lonely world. We don't live in a frightening world. We live in a world where everyone is filled with light and the power and the presence and the love of God and the intelligence to know that everyone is connected with the life force. Inside all, the wisdom is activating my life, your life, and all lives. There's many ways to feel and know the presence. One of the main ways to do it is to breathe. And we've all been taught to breathe before we meditate, haven't we? And we've all been told that it's a good idea to breathe. So when we breathe in, we are breathing in the breath of God. And we can feel it moving into our lungs. And we can feel it leaving. And the breath of God comes in again and leaves us, but only leaves the residue. The breath of life, of love comes again, and our hearts are beating. You can put your hands on your heart or just feel your pulse or you can just imagine your heart beating and know that it's beating with the life and the love of the God. And we can have curiosity about how is this working? How does this go? Let me see if I can feel it. Let me feel more excited about it. Let me understand it more. And I hope that I can get this really clear in me that every cell of my body is full of light and full of God. So let's take a nice quiet time now and relax our bodies even more. Wiggle your shoulders around, if you will, and let them flop down. Feel your hands feeling more relaxed and your feet, whatever position they're in. And if you can lean back on a chair and are leaning back, feel the chair resting your back and feel the relaxation in your back, in your shoulders. If you will, feel your skin on the face and head and the neck relaxing. And feel the joy that is ever with you, rising in that relaxation. And feel the relaxation moving through your chest. And feel the power and happiness of the heart beating. And the lungs expanding and contracting with the breath. And feel all the sense of power and peace in your stomach and digestive system, in your hips, Feel the power and the energy and the greatness of being able to move. And feel it in the elbows and arms and shoulders. We are so blessed with so much energy. And feel it in the legs and feet as we prepare to step forward into another day's activity with the power and the presence of God within us. There are some beautiful words from a Unity teacher in the States, Ray Wiggins. I am life. I live in the flow. Can you think about that for a moment? I am life. I live in the flow. I am joy above and below. I am joy above and below. I am power. I'm in control. I decide what's going on in my life. My peace is under my control. No matter what, I can feel peace. I am love. I reap what I sow. I am beauty, and so I grow. I am peace everywhere I go. I am light, eternally aglow. And once more, we look at our hand, we think of our hand, we think of our shoulders, we think of our arms, we think of our body, and we think of the light shining brightly in every cell. And we have gratitude very, very easily. I am grateful for my life with God. Would you like to say that with me? I am grateful for my life with God. And again, I am grateful for my life with God. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Grace. I think I'd like to stay there a little bit longer.
Oh, would you? I'm sorry.
No,
I've dragged you back.
yes, you have. Wasn't that wonderful? Would you thank Reverend Grace, please? That was just so good. Some words of wisdom, and we look forward to putting that wisdom into operation this week. What a great topic. What does gratitude mean? And of course, a great daily word, joy. And one of the ways we can celebrate joy is to